Have you ever tried to relax, only to find yourself more stressed out than before? You sit down, take a deep breath, and suddenly your heart starts pounding. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone, and you're not going crazy. In fact, there's a scientific reason for it. So if you've ever wondered why your attempts to chill out just backfire, stick around because we're about to dive deep into the surprising science of relaxation-induced anxiety. And hey, while you're here, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss out on our deep dives into the mysteries of the mind. All right, let's get into it. We're all taught that relaxation is the ultimate antidote to stress. We imagine serene beaches, quiet meditation rooms, or a cozy evening with a good book. And for many people, that's exactly what it is. But for a significant number of us, the very act of trying to unwind can trigger a wave of anxiety, panic, and unease. This phenomenon has a name: relaxation-induced anxiety. It might sound like a paradox, but it's a very real experience, and researchers have been studying it for decades. So what's actually happening in your brain and body when you try to relax and end up feeling more wired? Let's break down the main reasons. First up is the contrast effect. Imagine you've been running on a high-stress, high-adrenaline treadmill all day long. Your mind is racing, your body is tense, and you're constantly on high alert. This has become your normal. Then, you suddenly stop. You try to force your body and mind into a state of calm. The sudden shift from high alert to stillness can be jarring. Your brain, which is used to a constant barrage of stimulation and worry, suddenly has nothing to focus on. This abrupt contrast can make you hyper-aware of your internal sensations. You might notice your heartbeat, your breathing, or a tiny muscle twitch. And because your mind is conditioned to look for threats, it might interpret these normal bodily signals as a sign that something is terribly wrong. Why is my heart beating so loudly? Am I having a heart attack? This internal alarm bell turns a moment of potential peace into a source of panic. The second reason is what I call the unleashing of the thought monster. When you're busy and distracted throughout the day, you're effectively keeping a lid on a box of suppressed thoughts and worries. Work, chores, social media, errands, they all serve as distractions. The moment you stop and try to relax, you lift that lid, and what comes rushing out? All the worries, fears, and unresolved issues you've been avoiding. Suddenly, you're not just sitting quietly, you're face to face with your entire to-do list, your anxieties about the future, that awkward thing you said last week, and your deepest insecurities. Your brain, now free from external tasks, turns inward and magnifies these thoughts. Relaxation, in this case, doesn't feel peaceful. It feels like being ambushed by your own mind. Third, let's talk about the loss of control. For many people, especially high achievers or those with anxiety, being busy and in control feels safe. Your schedule is packed, you're ticking things off your list, and you feel productive. This sense of control can be a powerful coping mechanism. When you try to relax, you're essentially being asked to let go of that control. You're supposed to just be, but for a brain that equates doing with safety, this can be terrifying. The feeling of letting go can be misinterpreted as being vulnerable or lazy. Your brain might scream, "You can't just sit here. There are things to do. You're falling behind." This internal resistance to letting go creates a huge amount of tension, which is the exact opposite of relaxation. There's also a physiological component to this. For people who have experienced trauma or chronic stress, their nervous system might be stuck in a state of hypervigilance. Their fight-or-flight system is incredibly sensitive. In this state, relaxation isn't perceived as safety. It's perceived as a moment of letting your guard down, making you vulnerable to attack. So when you try to meditate or do deep breathing, your body might paradoxically ramp up its stress response, preparing you for a threat that isn't even there. This is your nervous system trying to protect you, but its alarm system is just calibrated way too high. So, how do we fix this? If trying to relax makes you stressed, what are you supposed to do? It can feel like a catch-22. The key is not to give up on relaxation, but to change your approach. First, start small and active. If sitting in silent meditation for 20 minutes sounds like your personal nightmare, don't do it. Forcing yourself into a form of relaxation that doesn't work for you is a recipe for more stress. Instead, try active relaxation. This involves activities that gently occupy your mind and body, providing a bridge from a state of high stress to calm. Think of things like gentle stretching, going for a slow walk in nature, listening to an engaging podcast or an audiobook, coloring, knitting, or doing a jigsaw puzzle. These activities give your mind a light focus, which prevents it from spiraling into worry, while still allowing your body to downshift. You're not forcing stillness, you're easing into it. Second, practice somatic awareness without judgment. This is a big one. Instead of fighting the sensations that come up when you try to relax, try to observe them with curiosity. When you notice your heart beating faster, instead of panicking, just say to yourself, "Interesting, my heart is beating." That is a sensation. This practice, often called mindfulness, is about detaching from the story your brain tells you about the sensation. You're not your thoughts, and you're not your physical sensations. They are just events happening within you. By observing them without judgment, you take away their power to create anxiety. It's like watching clouds pass in the sky. You notice them, but you know they aren't you, and they will eventually pass. Third, adjust your expectations. The goal of relaxation isn't to achieve a perfectly blank mind or a state of blissful nothingness. That's a myth, and striving for it will only cause frustration. A more realistic goal is to simply reduce your overall stress level by a small amount. Some days your relaxation practice might feel amazing. Other days it might feel clunky and difficult, and that's okay. The point is consistency, not perfection. Think of it like physical exercise. You don't expect to have a perfect workout every single time, but you know that showing up consistently is what brings results over the long term. Fourth, consider titration in your relaxation practice. This is a concept borrowed from trauma therapy. It means introducing relaxation in very small, manageable doses. Maybe you start with just 1 minute of deep breathing, just 60 seconds. See how that feels. If it feels okay, you might try 1.5 minutes the next day. If it feels overwhelming, you dial it back. You're gently and gradually teaching your nervous system that it's safe to relax. This slow and steady approach prevents the system from getting overwhelmed and triggering that backlash of anxiety. It respects your body's limits and builds a sense of trust between you and your own nervous system. Let's also talk about scheduling relaxation. This might sound counterintuitive, aren't we supposed to be spontaneous? But for people whose brains equate being idle with being unproductive, scheduling downtime can be a game changer. By putting 20 minutes of reading or a 15-minute walk on your calendar, you're giving it the same legitimacy as a work meeting. This gives your logical brain permission to engage in the activity without guilt. You're not being lazy, you're executing a scheduled task. This can be a very effective trick to bypass that loss of control anxiety we talked about earlier. It's also crucial to remember that what works for one person might not work for another. The wellness industry often pushes a one-size-fits-all model of meditation, yoga, and bubble baths. But your perfect form of relaxation might be woodworking, playing a musical instrument, or organizing your closet. The key criterion is this: does the activity leave you feeling more restored and less depleted than when you started? It needs to be something you genuinely enjoy, not something you feel you should be doing. Experiment and find your unique flavor of chill. Finally, and this is incredibly important, if relaxation-induced anxiety is severe, causing panic attacks, or significantly impacting your quality of life, it's a really good idea to seek help from a mental health professional. A therapist can help you understand the root causes of your anxiety, whether it's from past trauma, a learned pattern, or an underlying anxiety disorder. They can provide you with tailored strategies, like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, to help you reframe your thoughts and retrain your nervous system. There is no shame in seeking support. It's a sign of strength and a powerful step toward healing. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health. So, to recap, the reason relaxation can sometimes backfire is due to the contrast effect. The unleashing of suppressed thoughts, a fear of losing control, and a hypersensitive nervous system. The way forward is not to force it, but to find active forms of relaxation. Practice non-judgmental awareness, adjust your expectations, and introduce calm in small, manageable doses. Find what truly works for you, and don't be afraid to put it on your schedule. The next time you feel that surge of anxiety when you try to calm down, don't be discouraged. See it not as a failure, but as information. Your body is communicating with you. It's telling you that the jump from stressed to serene is too big right now, and that's okay. Your job is to listen, be kind to yourself, and build a smaller, safer bridge to get there. I hope this has shed some light on this confusing but common experience. It's a journey, not a destination, and every small step toward understanding yourself is a victory. What are your go-to methods for active relaxation? Let us all know in the comments below. You might just help someone else find their new favorite way to de-stress. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.